Uranus retrograde in Taurus, Sunday, September 1st. Reigniting the revolution, reuniting rebels, reawakening the beast, sudden pivots. Hello, my name is Eliane Nicole. I'm your astrologer and tarot reader, and in this video, I'm going to talk about Uranus, the great disruptor, the great shaker-upper, turning retrograde in Taurus, a sign of the bull. But first, I just want to say, if you're watching this video on Instagram, I will only post the first 5 minutes here. The full video will be available on my YouTube channel, Eliane Nicole. My YouTube channel is my name, Eliane Nicole, so please find me there. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. Please hit the notification button, bell, so that you can be notified every time I post a new video. Please like, please comment. Help me out in the algorithm, guys. If you're watching on Instagram, same thing. Please make sure that you are following astrology.tarot.Eliane Nicole. Please like, please comment, please share with other people who you know are into astrology. And now for my interpretation of Uranus stationing retrograde in Taurus. So Uranus is one of the outer moving planets. It's what we astrologers call the transpersonal planets, because in your birth chart, well, let's just say these planets stay in one sign for so long that, you know, where they are in your birth chart isn't necessarily something that's personal to you. It has more to do with like the generation you're born into, the era that you're born into, and what you have in common with people of that generation or that era. And so they usually have to do more with collective experiences. The exception to that in a personal birth chart is if an outer moving planet, and when I say the outer planets, I'm talking about Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, even though Uranus is the topic of this video. If one of them is in a direct aspect to one of your personal planets, like your sun, your moon, your rising, or like say right on your midheaven or IC or descendant, or even if they are in a direct aspect by exact degree to your Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, then they can become a personal planet to you. But for most people, in terms of a personal birth chart, they have more to do with broader things and a collective experience. And the transits of these planets are similar. They usually have to do with things that the collective is going through, things that are happening in the world, things that are happening in society, in your country. But collectives can even be in your neighborhood, it can be in your religious community, your racial community. I mean, any kind of collective that we're part of, these are what the outer planets usually define more when they're in transit. So Uranus has been transiting Taurus since 2018, and in that time, I think that we've all gotten a lot of kind of embodied lessons in recognizing how Uranian energy presents, because Taurus is an earth sign, and Taurus is actually the sign that kind of rules Mother Earth in a way. Taurus is very connected to nature, and Taurus is very connected to food. It's very connected to our physical body, and it's connected to our money. It's connected to our value system. And so these are things that the shakeups that Uranus has been making since it entered Taurus in 2018 have been in all of these areas and topics that I've just mentioned. And so those tend to be kind of more personal kind of topics to people. It has a lot to do with the banking system. for the collective, you know, our foods, our values, and yeah. And so, you know, as Uranus travels through a planet, through a sign, it's not like it's constant shakeups every day necessarily, but, you know, whenever he's in an aspect to a planet or stationing retrograde or stationing direct, there are certain points that are very Uranian, and they have an earthquake energy to them, especially in Taurus, again, because Taurus is an earth sign. Taurus is associated to ruling planet Earth. And so September 1st, there is this, like, on a geological level, we have this very earthquakey kind of, you know, explosive volcanic energy. And that has actually been a part of this entire lunar cycle, because we're still in the cycle of the Leo new moon. If you haven't watched that video, go back and watch it, because I talked about how Uranus was in a T-square with the sun and the moon in that new moon cycle. So this is a very Uranian cycle, and we have been seeing it all over the place in the news. I mean, you know, the cosmos do not lie. People lie, the cosmos don't lie. But this is going to be, you know, a real point to watch out for on September 1st, because, you know, Pluto is shifting on this day too. But I'm going to make a separate video about Pluto, because while they are related, because they are in they will be in a trine aspect when Pluto shifts back into Capricorn. And so in a way they are working together. But I don't want to go down that rabbit hole too far, because I want to simplify this video. I want to keep it relatively short if I can. But what I do want to say is that as Pluto, you know, stations retrograde, I feel a sense of, like, rebels reuniting, reigniting the revolution, reawakening the beast, you know, shakeups around banking, shakeups around financial systems, you know, shakeups around Mother Earth, and in our personal lives, it could manifest as a sudden pivot that we make, or someone close to us who we're dealing with makes, that changes everything. You know, Uranian energy, it's like lightning strikes and everything changes in an instant. It's very volatile energy. Sometimes it's associated with power outages. And again, it's only going to manifest for you in your personal life, likely if you have a planet at 27 degrees Taurus. It's very personal for Taurus. If you have a planet at 27 degrees Capricorn or Virgo, this can be the kind of shakeup and disruption in your life that is very liberating, or brings you some kind of tangible rewards, even though it changes everything. If you have 27 degrees of any of the fixed signs like Scorpio or Leo or Aquarius, this can be more of a difficult shakeup, but at the same time, it's ultimately still leading to liberation. It's leading you to becoming your most authentic self, living your most authentic life, shaking away the bullshit. But sudden change isn't always easy, even if ultimately it's beneficial. So that's kind of like the deal here. I think that we could see just some of the, you know, I don't know, like possibly the student encampments popping back up, you know, shakeups, rioting, upheavals, rebellions, protests around banking, money, food, values, and You know, it can be, you know, cows, you know, bulls. Like sometimes the astrology presents very literally. Is there anything else that I wanted to say? I mean, there is so much to say about this transit. I encourage you to contact me for a reading so we can look at where Uranus is moving through your chart. Oh, one thing I will say on the political front is that as Uranus moves backwards, it is going to move past the same point that it was on Donny Trump's chart during the attempt that happened. I don't want to like say things that are gonna make me be like censored or not have my video up, but 26 degrees Taurus is his midheaven. It's his highest, most public point in his chart. And granted, when that attempt happened towards him, Mars was in Taurus too, and Mars has now moved on. But Uranus will be crossing that point of Donny's midheaven again, and then going back over it a third time when it, you know, stations direct. So I believe, and I've been saying this since I saw that astrology, you know, which I think that he is still in danger. I think that whoever was after him still is. And I want to be careful what I say. I don't wish harm on any human being. I'm just reading what I see in the stars. And so I think that he is still in danger, whether it's just from natural forces or an outsider who is still after him. Things are still precarious for him as Uranus goes back and forth. And it has to do with sudden things that happen unexpectedly out of nowhere. And likely when he's in a public setting, you know, someplace where he's seen and people are seeing it happen. So Donny has to be careful, and that has to do with his chart specifically. Yeah, so I guess I'll wrap it up there. Thank you for joining me. If you'd like to know where Uranus is moving through your chart, if it's going to be a personal transit for you, as he appears to be going backwards in the sky from the vantage point of Earth, which has a very significant oracular meaning from an astrological point of view. My friend told me I'm too heady in these videos. I can't help it. I want to try and simplify. Please tell me, am I too heady? Answer the question. Tell me in the comments. I want to make it simple. I get nervous when I'm in front of the camera and I'm trying to remember so many things. So something about like getting tight and very formal helps me remember, helps me like process all the information in my brain and bring it out to you. But like, if it would be better or more digestible, if I kept it more simple, I would like to know that from you guys. I'm doing these videos for you. This is my offering. This is my offering of astrological knowledge because I feel like everyone should have access to free astrological knowledge if they want it. But the best is always to get a reading one-on-one with an astrologer. I would love to read for you. I read on Zoom, so I can read for people anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world. And if you're watching on YouTube, my email is in the notes. If you're watching on Instagram, make sure again that you're following. Oh, my YouTube channel is Eliane Nicole. If you're watching on Instagram, make sure that you're following astrology.tarot.Eliane Nicole. Go to my profile bio, hit the contact button. There is an email directly to me where you can get on the calendar for a reading. I would love to read for you. And yeah, September 1st is a hot button day because we have Uranus stationing retrograde and Pluto stationing retrograde the same day. I'm going to do a different video on Pluto. And another thing I'll say about Uranus is because it's in Taurus, it's ruled by Venus. And Venus has just entered Libra. So at the time of this retrograde, Venus is in full Venus-like territory. And so this is shakeups around relationships, art, love, attraction, the sensual pleasures of life, our comforts in life, you know, around justice, you know, daughters, sisters, money, health, all the things that Venus rules. But Venus is in Libra, so she is really empowered right now. She just hit the trine with Pluto. So this is a very powerful Venusian moment as well as Uranus stations retrograde. So I'm excited to see what's happening. I know that September 1st it's a hot button day. It's a day to watch. I think in general, early September has a lot of astrological kind of things going on, and then there's a little bit of more like calmer astro currents, and then it revs up again as we head towards the eclipse, which is another story for another day. But thank you for joining me about Uranus stationing retrograde, and enjoy. I always say, just, you know, we got to be flexible, because if we bend, we don't break. And the sudden change that comes from Uranus, it creates new paths towards the future that we would have never had if we hadn't been shaken out of our comfort zone. And it brings out so much creativity. Artistically, it's one of my favorite planets to work with. And so there's a lot of good that can come from Uranus. It ain't always easy, but life on planet Earth ain't easy. Apparently that's not why we're here. So thank you again for joining me. I know I've dragged out the end of this video. Enjoy. Bye.